The castle-destroying boulder battle game known as Rock of Ages is back with Rock of Ages 2. But is this a game that should be rolling onto your console, or should this rock just be destroyed? Rock of Ages 2 provides the same core fun gameplay that Rock of Ages presented, but has been ramped up a bit and more added to it. The game is a blend of Super Monkey Ball and castle defense. You and your opponent have to build up the defenses to stop your opponent's boulders from being able to get to your castle. To do so, you can set up a whole bunch of different traps of varying qualities, such as walls, giant elephants, and a variety of different cannons. While you're building up your defenses or in between turns, you're having a new boulder produced for your army, and once it's made, you then take control of the boulder and have to control it down an obstacle course, watching out for all of your opponent's defenses and eventually making it into their castle, hopefully crashing into it with a decent amount of speed and a decent amount of health left in order to do the most amount of damage. The game has a small handful of different modes, local and online multiplayer, with one of the big draws for Rock of Ages 2 being the fact you can do up to 4-player online multiplayer, though locally you can only do 2-player. The main campaign mode, which can be played single or multiplayer, has you traveling to the game's various levels via a map screen, where you'll be mostly battling on all the different maps, as well as unlocking a bunch of different stuff that you'll be able to use in the other modes. You'll be able to get new types of units as you progress through, but also unlock the game's variety of characters, as well as a few other customization options for your boulders and your army. The game uses a big variety of different historical artwork that it ends up bringing to life, and these characters are animated for the cutscenes and anytime that you end up having to deal with them throughout the game, and has a very humorous feel to it. You'll be dealing with some real historical figures, just artistic representations of them, and other ones that are more fictional, like Medusa or the Scream from Edvard Munch. The game does a decent enough job with its tutorial to kind of get you into everything, but it will take some time before you feel comfortable with your defenses, as well as being able to get your boulder to go where it needs to. Some of which are different shaped and thus making it more difficult to get them to go where you need to, but may have other benefits, as well as certain other ones will cause different other things to happen, like rotating satellites around them to knock out different enemy traps. You have a limited number of gold at your disposal, though you can earn more via gold mines and destroying your enemy in order to build up your defenses, as well as at the beginning of a map you have to decide what you want to use, the type of boulder, if you want to have more than one type of boulder that could potentially be brought into the battlefield, as well as which type of defensive units do you want. You only have a small amount that you're able to pick from, and a decent amount that you end up getting in total, so mixing and matching and figuring out which ones work best, especially on certain maps, will end up benefiting you in the end. The game features easy, normal, and hard difficulties, and it definitely gets harder if you decide to ramp up that difficulty, so be prepared to get stopped quite a few times before you're finally able to start getting the hang of things. The campaign's world map is relatively non-linear with a few branching paths so you can decide the order that you want to complete certain levels. There are gates set up that you'll have to have a certain number of stars in order to unlock these gates, and you get stars for completing the variety of maps and on each of the difficulties. There's also the occasional boss-like battle that's thrown into the campaign, which is unlike the main normal levels you're doing. You'll have to have a more strategic approach of figuring out what you need to do in order to damage that particular boss. Controls all worked pretty well for the most part. I had no issue when it came to being able to place my units. You can zoom in and zoom out, as well as quickly snap to either your castle or where your enemy's boulders are coming from, and because of this you're able to get around your map. It's just kind of figuring out how large the map actually is and where you should be placing your units. And when it comes to rolling the boulder, once you get used to the momentum and the weight of the boulder, it actually works pretty well. Outside the campaign mode, you can just do a one-on-one matchup against a computer or against a friend, and there's also races against computer or friends, as well as timed trials. From the technical side of things, I didn't run into any major glitching, crashing, or slowdown of any sort. Rock of Ages 2 is available now on Xbox One, PC, and PS4 for $14.99. It unfortunately, though, doesn't have a Platinum on the PS4. Overall, if you enjoyed the original, you're gonna like Rock of Ages 2. There's more maps, more potential modes, the 4-player online multiplayer, though I wish there was also the 4-player local multiplayer. But overall, with everything said, I think there's a decent amount to get into. I'm gonna be giving Rock of Ages 2 an 8 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's gonna wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.